Oh, no. 10? Which? MePad 2.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So,
This is an Atom X5.
thank you.
So this is from Xiaomi in China. Here's the switch here. So this was launched, I think about January timeframe. They launched the Android version first, and then a few weeks later, they launched the Windows version, which I have here. These are great performance, battery life. In fact, when Xiaomi launched this in China, they sold 85,000 of these tablets in one day. Super popular, very up-and-coming consumer electronic manufacturer in China.
And now the Acer Predator.
So the Acer Predator is this incredible gaming tablet. It's based on our Atom X7, so the highest performance you can get in an Atom processor. And it's optimized for gaming. So we have 4 speakers here, right? And it also has haptic feedback. So when you're playing your game, you're shooting or you get shot or you're driving, you get the haptic feedback. It provides an incredible gaming experience. Great innovation from Acer.
All right, if you would get ready to show us Core M video performance, I'll spend a little time talking about the Atom family. So if you assume Atom X3 is the baseline, then the X5 is going to give you about twice the performance running Mobile Expert. If you look at Atom X7, it's going to be another 2 times, or about 4 times the performance. And then if you take a look at the Core M3, if you were to put that on top, you have about 6 times. So when we're talking mobility, we're trying to provide a nice scale for price at the low end, performance at the high end. And all these products are optimized for that ultra mobility experience. Now, what about Core M? Core M is designed to give you that mobility plus add a little bit of Core DNA. So with the 6th generation, we had great graphics, the ability to decode 4K and not consume a lot of processor. So we're going to show you an extreme example of a Core M processor playing back a 4K file and show you just how little of the processor it uses. So Gary has an M7 6Y75. It's running at 1.2 gigahertz. And now he's decoding a 4K file.
Yeah, so this is not only a 4K file, this is a new video format called HEVC, also known as H.265. And everything from 6th Gen Core is optimized to play HEVC content flawlessly with almost no sweat at all. So you can see from the processor utilization, that's about 5%. And that translates directly to increased battery life.
All right, so if we asked you what's faster, Pentium quad core versus Pentium dual core, a lot of people are tempted to say the Pentium quad core, but those platforms tend to have a very low TDP, low thermal design point. So those are designed to be a 4-watt bar. Pentium dual core, the one that we showed earlier, editing video very fast, that's got a 15-watt thermal design point. So if you were to say frequency is the most important factor in determining performance, I would say let's look at the TDP first and then look at the frequency within that TDP. So when we go to our core family, we have 15-watt dual cores and we have 45-watt quad cores. And then inside of those families are performance. So the Pentium dual core, Core i5, Core i7, those are all examples of the U family, whether U stands for universal or ultrabook. It's designed to give you that balance between lasting long on the airplane and still giving you great performance. Now the H for quad core, high performance series, those are for the people that actually use the platform, render video, and they want the most performance possible. So you can get a quad core Core i5 or a quad core Core i7 with dual threading and have up to 8 logical processors. Or you can have a platform that uses that quad core unlocked and add a significant frequency boost so that you have multiple cores, all running at a higher frequency. So the power and performance is what the Core family is all about. Lighter and more mobile is what Core M is all about, and then long-lasting mobility is what Atom is all about. So we're just trying to help the OEMs and customers understand what's right for them and what the products can enable. And where the confusion is most is Pentium dual core and quad core, and then Core M versus Core M. Let's take a look at breakthrough innovation now, because this is really coming strong in 2016 and will continue into 2017. I want to talk about 3 technologies. The first is Intel Optane. We announced 3D XPoint memory in 2015, and that's how you can take storage transistors and route them in a special way to get phenomenal performance. We're estimating that SSDs built with 3D XPoint will be 1,000 times faster than those with NAND. Scary performance. When you combine it with the chipsets of a motherboard, you now get Intel Optane memory. So 3D XPoint plus Intel chipset technology equals Optane. And those platforms will have the ability to put a small amount of memory and accelerate hard drives to SSD levels of performance. You'll see those platforms in 2017. Here today is Thunderbolt 3. Thunderbolt 3 is the latest instantiation of Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt's been with many Apple products. Thunderbolt 2 was launched with some Windows products, and now Thunderbolt 3 is coming out on at least 6 designs this year and coming with more OEMs next year. And Gary's going to show us a little bit about Thunderbolt 3.
Okay, thank you, Dave. So I'm going to demonstrate Thunderbolt 3, which is new for 6th Gen core, requires a 6th Gen core system. I have from Dell the XPS 15, and I also have from Dell a Thunderbolt dock. And the Thunderbolt dock has many ports. It has 2 display port connections. It has VGA connection. It has Type-C connector for more Thunderbolt devices. In fact, I've connected to this external storage device over Thunderbolt cable. And I'm going to demonstrate how that performance is with Thunderbolt 3. Oh, by the way, besides the data, Thunderbolt 3 carries power. So I'm not powering my XPS 15 with its brick. It's getting that from a single cable coming from the Thunderbolt 3 dock. So I can put that in my backpack. I don't need that while I'm at my desk. So I have here a standard USB 3 external drive, and I'm going to compare the performance of copying about 40 gigabytes of video files from here to the XPS 15, and I'll also copy those same files from the storage device to the XPS 15. So let's go ahead and start this copy. And then we'll go to the Thunderbolt drive.
So Gary's using a USB 3 SSD. He's getting about 100 to 120 megabytes per second transfer. So it's the fastest USB 3. Normally, if you did a hard drive, you get about 30 or 40.
So we're getting about 125 megabytes per second from the USB 3 drive. And then on the Thunderbolt 3 drive, we're getting nearly 400. Sometimes it goes a little higher than 400. You can see how fast it is. It quickly overtook the USB 3 drive in transfer rate and is quickly transferring 40 gigabytes of video files. So if you're into content creation and you're moving large files, Thunderbolt 3 is a must. Not only do you get 40 gigabits of transfer bandwidth, but oh, by the way, you can have 2 4K monitors connected at the same time because there's plenty of bandwidth. So great convenience with the single cable and incredible bandwidth for multitudes of data and power.
Thanks, Gary. And then the next technology that we're going to talk about is Iris. So Intel's got about a 70% share with graphics. And the reason we're bringing Iris out is when you look at that U platform with 15 watts, Iris Graphics adds more fixed function graphics capability without significantly raising the power profile of that platform. So you get long battery life, but significantly better graphics. If we compare where we've been to where we are, 6th generation core is significantly better than where we've been with 2nd gen. So we've got a demonstration that we're going to show you here, and I'm going to help Gary out by making sure.
So yeah, we're all set.
Hang on, I think we want to be new over here and old there.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are you showing us, Gary?
So I'm going to use a benchmark. It's called Cinebench, and it could run two different benchmarks. One optimized for CPU performance, and then there's an OpenGL benchmark for graphics performance. I'm going to go ahead and run the OpenGL test here. I'm going to start with my 5-year-old PC, and it takes a while for it to load the animation. And what we're going to find out, in fact, is that because this is a 5-year-old PC with HD Graphics 3000, it can't run this latest version of OpenGL. So we'll see an error message come up, but then we'll run the animations, and you'll see the quality of the animation on the 6th gen based Iris versus the older one.
Typically, people assume that platforms without discrete would not sell in India. And one of the reasons that's true is there aren't any platforms without discrete for people to select. So if more retailers, whether online or brick and mortar, were to offer a platform focused on mobility, great performance, yet not include discrete, and these are typically the small medium business designs, like my Lenovo Yoga X1. That doesn't have discrete graphics, and I have 6th generation core, so I have the performance to do the mainstream games that I want, but I get really long battery life. And I believe that as more platforms like that come to market, you'll start seeing the trend shift a little bit. Because if you're not playing games like Just Cause 3, you don't need a 950 or a 960 discrete card. And if you are playing smaller games, the 6th gen core platform gives you plenty of performance. And what's probably going to help separate the platforms for India is when you add VR. So when you add virtual reality, you're definitely talking about higher performance. So VR ready might be an acronym that works well here as opposed to just saying gaming, because there's a lot of concern. I don't want my kids playing games, I want them focusing on school. However, virtual reality might not have that same negative connotation.
So the OpenGL benchmark is running. You can see the 5-year-old PC is struggling really hard to play this back. Not very well, whereas on the 6th gen system, it's smooth, fluid, looks great. That's what you get with the Iris graphics.
Yeah, so we're not saying discrete's not as bad. What we're saying is that you probably want to choose whether you want to power that platform or that extra component for your daily work or for a specific gaming machine. And for a specific gaming machine, that makes a lot of sense for a lot of buyers. And what we're seeing is that there's about 1 million gamers in the world that are driving a very successful marketplace. If you were to look at just this segment, there's a 25% growth between 15 to 16, making it very profitable for people to work in. The combined hardware and software sales of gaming is 115 billion. And what's important is that this is a 2 to 3 year refresh. So when games like Fallout 4 or Just Cause 3 come out, they drive a desire for a faster platform because they bring out features that don't run as well on older platforms. So the gamers are continually updating the machine to have the best. It's like the way TVs were before flat panels. If it turned on, nobody worried about it, right? It may have taken 10 minutes before the color to finally come in. But when flat panels started coming out, people were noticing the difference in quality, and then they were upgrading every so often. So when there's a significant use case that drives an interest in the performance of your platform, like gaming does with gamers, it'll help trigger a faster refresh cycle. Now there's another technology that's emerging that's driving high performance, and that's 360-degree video. I have an example here of a 360-degree video rig. It is a 6th-gen unlocked platform, and it represents extreme performance. What's interesting about it is I can send this content out so that people can consume it. And so imagine having the ability to record Diwali or holy festivals and then stream the content to devices. So we've set up a small streaming server. We'll pass around this laptop. If you would please don't close the window, because then you'll make it difficult for the next person to see it. And then in contrast, we have a cell phone VR rig, which will let you see the same thing. What's different is cell phone VR is low resolution, and not everybody can put together a 3D image in their head. Some people can't see it. So sometimes people would get headaches or not find the experience enjoyable, whereas seeing it on a laptop usually is fine for everybody. So you're seeing more and more people stream this live or create the videos. If I were to, so you remember my 4K video playback, old PC, new PC? Remember how the old PC struggled to play 4K file? How do you think it's going to do with a stream of 6 videos at 4K? It's just going to be even worse, right? So this kind of workload is another one of those examples of performance helping people make that transition to a new platform. So it just doesn't have to be the PC that creates the content. If you want to consume the content, you're going to want a faster platform. Let's take a look at some of the changes that have been going on with desktop. We've got a nice all-in-one form factor up here. You can even find them portable. And what that does is it creates a very nice, clean workspace. And then we're seeing a trend where towers are being replaced by small form factor PCs. So in effect, giving you all the power without the tower. And here we have an example of a device like that here. This is the device that's actually streaming the 360 video that you're consuming on the laptop and the VR headphone. You can also use it to stream Netflix and connect to the television and have enough performance to do a little bit of video editing. Compute Stick is an example of a great TV accessory, but it doesn't have that same PC performance. It's more of a television accessory. We talk about 2-in-1s, and what 2-in-1s are doing, we've measured this in the United States, and that is it had a significant impact on the growth of the market. If you didn't have 2-in-1s, there'd be about a 5% delta in the overall PC market. So it's adding growth. The people that are buying 2-in-1s tend to replace them a little faster. And what was important is the people that bought 2-in-1s were considering a tablet. So this is a very good indicator. And it'll probably be something that I'll be able to talk about in India as more devices come into this market that have the performance of Pentium dual core at the prices of systems you have today. Because what you have today are a lot of these quad core devices that don't really have the performance. So it's not a viable replacement for somebody's laptop. But with the 2-in-1 that I did our demonstration on earlier at targeted price of $449, that is the kind of device that gives you good value for money. And speaking of value, Intel's very committed to enabling OEMs to provide as low as possible price points. So whether it's the Celeron, Pentium, or Core i3, you can see devices with Windows or Chrome as low as $149 or $169. And we've got several OEMs adding to this low-value marketplace. So very good value for money with an operating system giving people the experience that they want. We're continuing to improve the performance of tablets. And here's where segmenting the performance is so important. You can see that at the bottom with X3, you've got great value. With X5 and X7, you've got high performance choices. Gary's already showed you several examples. And we know that it's important in this marketplace to add WAN capability, and several of the designs are coming out with that. All right, so we zipped through the breakthrough innovation. Now let's spend a little bit of time talking about redefining the user experience. We're going to focus on, first, addressing user pain points. And when we talk about this, it's helpful to understand that a lot of people may not realize what's possible, so they may not know it's a pain point. If we were to ask people 100 years ago, what form of transportation would you like? They probably would have said a faster horse. They wouldn't have said the new Tesla, because they did not know you could have a car that was electric. 50 years ago, if we asked people what kind of banking improvements would they want, they probably would have said more tellers, because they had no idea that you could pay with your phone or your computer, or you could get money out of the roll, out of an ATM. So if you have difficulty imagining what's possible, you have difficulty realizing that what you're doing might be a pain point. But we can speak from experience that lots of wires, lots of passwords, and mouse and keyboard can in fact be pain points. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things Intel's doing to address these pain points. Starting with no wires. There's 4 categories of our work with no wires. There's docking, there's data, there's display, and there's charging. So we have a demonstration of what a wireless docking would look like.
Okay, I have here a 6th gen Intel reference system. This Intel reference system is manufactured and distributed to companies making operating systems and applications. And this demonstrates all the features of the 6th gen platform so that these communities can write to those capabilities in their software. This one, therefore, has the wireless docking capability. And I'm going to demonstrate it with a wireless dock. This one's from HP. And it has a number of ports on the back, similar to the Thunderbolt 3 dock. You have 2 display ports, you have the VGA port, you have multiple USB ports, you have an Ethernet port, and then you have audio and even another USB port. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the dock on, and it will automatically connect. This one takes a few seconds to send a signal up to the TV, so it'll be just a second. So it's connected, I can see here, and then just a few seconds, there it is. So it's connected. So I'm at my desk, and I'm working, I can have all my peripherals hooked up to the dock, but sometimes I have to run to a meeting. So I pop the tablet off of my tuning fork, and I'll run to a meeting. And as soon as I leave range of the wireless dock, it will disconnect. Just like that.
Actually, you guys got 2 demos for one in that. I'll explain the second free demo when Gary comes back.
Okay, so now I'm returning from my meeting, and I walk into my office, and I don't have to do anything. It just automatically reconnects when I'm in range. There it is.
All right, did you notice what happened when Gary disconnected his device? He had selected automatically change to tablet mode.
Yes.
So detachable 2-in-1s have the ability to tell Windows, I've switched, please make my experience easier to work with. So he's really good at sneaking in a demo whenever he gets a chance. So that's an example of wireless docking. Let's talk about wireless charging. So recently, the A4WP and the PMA alliances combined to create AirFuel Alliance. And this means that there could be dual capability charging devices provided to help simplify what standards a device or a charging pad will support. So Resonance is magnetic based. It has a little larger range. It can support multiple devices. And in effect, it makes it just a little easier to use. Whereas PMA was inductive, and therefore alignment was an issue and distance from the charging pad was an issue. What will happen though is when these devices roll out as AirFuel Alliance, it will support inductive and will also support resonance. It's just another way to help make wireless charging a little easier to adopt. When it comes to no passwords, we've seen Windows 10. provide the ability to log in with Windows Hello. And that uses both infrared and Intel RealSense cameras. So that's a potential market of 110 million users of people that will migrate to Windows 10 and be able to log in with their face. And as Gary talked about, it's fairly secure. If it can tell the difference between twins, then you know it has the ability to detect small changes in facial structure. And because it's fast, it's unobtrusive, therefore not a penalty.
It's so fast, in fact, I want you guys to come up when we're done to try and log in yourself just to see that this demo was for real.
Intel Security has had McAfee LiveSafe for a while, and you've heard of TrueKey. We're combining TrueKey, which is a very effective password manager, into the LiveSafe product so that you get that capability combined into one. And with TrueKey, you can literally use your face as your password. It'll create multiple passwords for multiple sites. You only need to log into the TrueKey application itself, so you remember one, and then it can manage the rest of your applications and make them very, very secure. So with identity theft being prevalent, TrueKey is a way to avoid having that one easy to remember password on every single account. The last thing is legacy interfaces. And so immersive computing is a way that we can step beyond legacy interfaces with just the keyboard and mouse. We're going to talk about two technologies. One is RealSense and the other one is three-dimensional video. So let's start with RealSense. So as we said earlier, there's over 30 devices with RealSense in the market. It's taking a while to get established in India. It's possible that retailers can use this as an in-store experience and wait for some more products and more software to build. But we're going to give you some examples of how it can be used. First, let's talk about the opportunities. So if we talk about security and facial login, as I said earlier, 110 million Windows 10 users. Then the next category would be chat and streaming. And this is where we're removing the background, whether it's the coffee shop behind you, your cluttered room, or wherever you are and you want to project where you want people to think you are, or you want to focus on your content and not about your location. Chat and streaming take advantage of background removal. We're going to have a demonstration for that. And finally, with gaming, you have the ability to put yourself in the game as well as scan objects in the game. So it's either objects in Minecraft or scanning a likeness and putting it into the popular games. So all of these represent large market opportunities for RealSense. There's two types of cameras, whether it's world-facing or front-facing. We've color-coded this so that you can see how the new applications are rolling out. And Intel Blockmaker is the way that we improve the game of Minecraft. So we have the ability to scan objects and turn them into Minecraft blocks. And then finally, we'll just simplify it, focus on the key apps, user-facing, face login, immersive collaboration gaming, or world-facing. And here, let's walk you through what we mean by world-facing. So Gary's going to show you how we can scan using the world-facing camera on the RS1.
Okay, so earlier I demonstrated the front-facing camera on the ASUS All-in-One. Now with this IdeaPad Mix 700, I have a world-facing or rear RealSense camera. And one of the great applications is to scan people. And there's an application called It Sees 3D, and it allows you to either scan a whole body or just the upper body. And then once you have a scan, you could share it on social networks. You could save it to a file from which you could print if you had a 3D printer, or using a program called Uranium, you can import the scan into a game like Skyrim or Fallout 4, and you become the person in the game rather than someone else, and so it becomes much more interesting and immersive for you. So you can see we did a scan here while we were in Mumbai. Lighting is essential for RealSense. We didn't have great lighting here, but let me show you a video of what it takes to do the scan, and it's actually quite easy. Now this white stuff you're going to see, that's what's creates the 3D mesh according to the scanning that's happening in real time. And the idea is just to paint the person with the 3D mesh as you rotate around. Red means you're too close, blue means you're too far. So it's very easy. The program prompts you to make the corrections as necessary. That's it. Now you can have it processed one of two ways. You can have it processed locally, and it takes just like 10 seconds. But for a more high-resolution scan, you can send it to the ITSY's 3D's cloud server, and you get much more high-resolution processing. And it takes about 10 minutes for the whole upload, processing, and download.
All right, so I've taken a scan of Gary, and I've loaded my favorite Skyrim game. And let's take a look at what I've done to Skyrim by sticking Gary into the game. And for this demonstration, we're going to call him Warrior God. Hard to see there, so let's walk him down, face him into the sun, away your sword. Now, you could spend hours trying to customize a character's face to look like you, or with a few simple minutes, you scan yourself and put him in the game. There's actual multiplayer games where you'd be able to do this too, Counter-Strike Go or Left 4 Dead 2. Local server versions, because the online versions, the worldwide versions, they'll still detect any kind of modification of the game as something they don't want to allow. But you can have a collection, a local server event with your friends. You can all scan in your faces or put faces of somebody you would wish to go to battle with. You can create your own special version of the monster. And it makes gaming just a little more personal. All right, so that's an example using world-facing RealSense, how to modify a game, or to come up with something useful for the skin. For instance, the skin of the woman in the wedding dress, she could have had a 3D printed cake topper. She could have had pieces made for the tables. They could even print in sugar if they wanted to create a version of that that's editable. All right, so Gary's now going to show you user facing with background segmentation for Skype or Adobe Connect.
So I'm actually going to demonstrate two programs. One of them is called Personify. And Personify creates a plugin that's actually a virtual camera device so that you could get background segmentation in any application that uses camera. And I'm going to demonstrate Skype. Everyone is familiar with Skype, and I'll show you how that works. So I'm just going to go up to Tools, Options, and Video Settings. And this is what you're probably used to seeing in Skype. There I am. There's everything behind me. Now, what's behind me frequently can become very distracting for the person you're trying to collaborate on the other end. And that's where this background segmentation feature of RealSense comes in. So I select Cameo by Personify, that's the plugin. And at first you'll see me just on a blank blue background. But I can make the background any JPEG photograph I want. I could be there, I could be in an office environment. What I'd really like to be on the beach pond. I'm on the ski slope. It's awfully cold up here. And then if I turn it off, there again, that's what the camera's seeing from the background segmentation. It's pulled me out, and I can have a much more effective collaboration experience with the background segmentation.
We're seeing a trend where people are broadcasting activities that they're doing. So they could literally be filming something behind them that they want to do the reveal. So they can use background segmentation to hide what's behind them until they're ready to show it. Then go back to the RealSense camera so then people can see the finished product behind it. It's a way to enhance what they're doing. And Adobe Connect will work with this. Actually, any application that allows you to select the camera will give you a chance to use background segmentation. It's just probably one of the broadest reaching applications because of the number of users that use video conferencing. And it requires RealSense only on the system that's doing the broadcasting, so it could be a one-to-many, education or entertainment. So one of those things that over time can create a very immersive opportunity. So that's just a quick update on what's new with RealSense. Now I want to provide you guys a look at something that we launched at CES, and this is called 3D. Intel acquired this company recently, and here's a quick video of what you can do. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to being able to roll out next time I come back to India, what exact stadium events, what exact platforms that will support this will be available. You saw that it was saying to require 6th generation core. So when we talk about how the performance from playing 4K to 4K 360 to immersive, changing the perspective, basically no bad seat in the house, the performance requirements tend to ratchet up. However, if you have the ability to watch any match that's been filmed with this and change the perspective as you want, share with your friends your version of that video, we think that's going to be something that drives a lot of purchase intent in people. It could be that one experience that helps people realize old is no longer good enough. So I'm pretty excited about 2016. I believe the strategy that we have is working. I believe that segmented performance and helping create the right products at different price points and working with the OEMs to bring all of these products out at once is what's best, because there's no one product fits all. You really need to give people exactly the experience they want, whether it's mobility, whether it's light form factor, whether it's extreme performance. We're committed to the PC. Even when we have wearables like these goggles and these glasses, the experience from these devices is enhanced with a computer, because the computer lets you upload where you've been and what you did and share with friends, as well as change your maps. I couldn't tell these goggles that I was in Delhi until I got my PC out and uploaded specifically the area that they wanted them to work in. So if you get a chance, come up here, take a look at the snow goggles. They've got a map of the area right outside. So if you were to find snow, you could wear the goggles. You certainly could take advantage of these for walking or bike riding. My Tag Heuer watch that I'm wearing, it brings the best of the PC to my wrist. I have a phone and I can never tell when it vibrates. I always know when my wrist vibrates. And when the message is from my boss wanting an attachment emailed right away, that's an indication that it's time to get out the computer and send a very detailed, no typo, proper attachments message using my laptop. If it's simply responding to somebody, I can use my cell phone. So it helps me be better at which device. So I think modern people will have more than one device, and if they have a wearable, a PC is probably going to be an excellent companion if it's giving you a glimpse of what's going on in your work as well as what's going on with your social. We're going to let you come up and interact with this, and feel free to talk to us about the demo systems that we have. We're trying to keep them set up, but we're happy to let you explore, and we'd really like to thank you for coming and taking time out of your day. And if for any reason we jumped over some technology really quick and you've got more questions, please ask. Thank you so much.